Hello and welcome to TheoryCraft episode 22. Episode 22, baby. It is Thursday, July the 1st. Those of you that are fans of Canada may know what that means for us here in Canadiana land. Of course, it's Canada Day, which, say what you will about it. I'm not always one to celebrate Canada Day, but here I am. Here we are. And here this is. Episode 22 is Night Elf Day. And I'm very excited for this. This is actually, it's going to have to be a little bit of a shorter episode because I have to go play a gig tonight. And I got to go sound check with my band to play in front of a real audience tonight, which is going to be incredible. It has been over a year. You playing ice hockey. Yes, we all play ice hockey to celebrate on real ice. In front of real people, though. I'm going to go play music in front of real people for 4 nights in a row. Can you believe that? Real human beings are going to be watching me. It's going to be incredible. So that's, I do have to, we started a little bit earlier today, and I'm going to cut it a little bit short, but don't worry. It's still going to be at least 2 hours. I just won't be able to go to the 3 hour and 40 mark like we have been known to do recently. I feel as though the shows are just getting longer and longer, which is just totally cool. Totally cool when I don't have to go. Senior citizens home next door, absolutely. I have played seniors' homes. A couple times, actually. They're fun crowd. Yes, that's the rundown. Last episode was interview with X-Lord, which it was really nice to talk to him. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't checked it out, it was over on the YouTube channel, albeit it was a little bit late because we had a lot of uploads on the YouTube channel last week because Remo Demo was killing it, and we got even more uploads coming in because of Dust League and stuff like that. But that's there. It's a little bit swallowed up by plentiful videos, but it's there if you guys want to go check it out again. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was nice to talk to him. He's a cool guy. I do like him. I respect him. He's an extremely good player, and still trying to figure out who I'm going to get to interview this month. But there is 5 episodes this month, so we got a little bit extra time. Let me confirm that there is 5 episodes this month, right? It's 5 Thursdays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, yes, but there is there's DreamHack this month, so perhaps not 5 episodes. But we will see. There'll at least be this episode, and of course there'll be next episode, which is. You guys know what next episode is? Who understands the schedule at this point? Because it's all over the place. But who knows? Who could guess? It's the first week of the month, first episode. What happens in the second episode of every month? Ooh, you guys know? You guys know? Go to the notepad. It is something that people have been saying is actually their favorite episode. Yeah, cool. You know, which I'm glad that some people, I'm sure there's some people that prefer the interviews, and some people that prefer the pro analysis, which is going to be pro analysis today, and then some people prefer the second week of every month, which is community replay review. So that will be the next episode next week, so send me your replays. And I did have a couple that I didn't get to last month. There was even one that I missed that I forgot about that was lost in the sauce. So absolutely just bump me and be like, hey, just in case you've forgotten about my replay, here it is again. Right? Don't be afraid to do that. Send me a message. Send me 5 messages. I don't care. I get 40 messages a day. Just send me 5. Whatever. Bidu probably messages me 80 times a day. Kind of bugs me with him, but with you guys it won't. So just bump me and say, hey, you missed my replay. Here it is again. Check it out. And then, of course, the way you can submit a replay, if you want to get it in, you can email me. I get 0 messages a day. You can email me at carsonbacktowarcraft.com, but the best way to ensure that I am aware of your replay's existence is to go to discord.backtowarcraft.com. Can you see that dot right there? This is a dot. That's a dot. I don't know if that's coming out. If it's coming through. Dot. And then backtowarcraft.com. And that will give you a link to the Discord. Then you can join our Discord and go to the TheoryCraft channel, and you can submit your replay there. I do like it when you guys give me a little bit of a write-up with it, too. Like, say, hey, this is my MMR, this is my race, here's a little backstory to the strategy I'm trying to play. You know? That really does help, and if you send it if you send me a nice little write-up and say, yeah, you can read this on stream, I'll definitely read it before we do your replay, and we'll spend a good amount of time next week, hopefully. Maybe we'll spend like 4 hours going over you guys' replays, assuming I get enough of them. I got a couple, like I said, but it's up to you guys to send them in. Doesn't matter the skill level. We did Agent against 120 last time, which is like a 2100 MMR game. Doesn't matter. We've also done like 800 MMR replays. So send me whatever. One thing is I won't do the replay if it's like an hour long, because then I just can't get to other people's replays. So keep it within a reasonable length. That's why Peter was blocked by various players. Ooh, name one in specific. A very well-known one. A very good player. So that's next week. Alright? Any questions about next week? You guys gonna send your replays in? Maybe what would be cool is, maybe if I play some ladder games, maybe I'll do one of my own replays. So what I could always do, although I don't play a ton of ladder, but I could play a bunch of ladder games one week. Maybe I'll play them like tomorrow or the next day or something like that. Forget about them. And then when we do community replay review, I'll just grab a random replay that I lost, and we'll just look at it as though I've never seen it before. That could be cool. Then we could see that I too make probably a mistake on every single step in the game. That might be a fun little experiment. Okay, but as I said, it does have to be quite a quick show, so I can't spend 45 minutes on the intro. So let's just get down to the meat and potatoes. You lost because your opponent is better. That's true. I could just say that, like, yeah, every opponent today is just gonna lose because Moon is better, right? Yeah, that's true. Five head. True 5 head. Okay. So today's episode is Night Elf Day. It's going to be specifically focused on Night Elf Mir, specifically focused on one specific hero in Night Elf Mir. Today's episode is called 3 Reasons to Play PotM, bracket, in Mir. Of course, you may play PotM in other situations, as a third hero in some cases. Any other cases? Nope, that's pretty much it. As a third hero in some cases. That's it. And it's a very strong hero. And actually, interestingly, I downloaded a lot of replays. Actually, the first 110 pages of replays, I downloaded every Night Elf Mir on Warcraft3.info. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't play a lot of PotM. It was mostly DH Mir. It's mostly DH versus DH, which of course, the fear is always that you could be up against a Keeper, so there's sort of this triangle counter where Keeper counters PotM, PotM counters Demon Hunter, and Demon Hunter counters Keeper. So just keep in mind that when we do these PotM replays today, that there's always the meta game going into it of, I'm worried about my opponent going Keeper, so I may have to mix in Demon Hunter. So when I say you should play PotM and Mir, and it's very strong, I'm not saying you should always play PotM and Mir. You should certainly mix it up between probably PotM and Demon Hunter. And then maybe even Keeper on occasion too. There's definitely an argument that can be made there. I did a whole episode on changing up your strategy, being a very variable player, because that's what Night Elf's strength is. They can play many different openers. Even in Night Elf Mir, 3 different hero openers. Back in the day, people used to play Beastmaster first. They used to play Naga, Mass Archers back in the day. So there's plenty of first heroes. Nowadays, there's just 3, but always change up your style. Although I do analysis on very specific strategies, or else if I just did an episode on the entire matchup, well then, okay, let's just do like 7 episodes and then we'll be done forever. So I really focus on narrow strategies. So today it's going to be Priestess against Demon Hunter. But of course, there's always situations where you go Priestess, your opponent goes Keeper, and you're like, oh, well, that's too bad. But DH is most common. As I said, most of the replays that I downloaded were Demon Hunter Mir. So this is going to work a lot of the time, these strategies. And we're going to do 3 different strategies. If you guys remember that episode I did on Crypt Lord, I think it was 5 different Crypt Lord strategies against human. I think that's what it was. Today's going to be 3 different PotM strategies. And actually, I really like these because, hey, Frank Drabin, 17 months. Appreciate you. How's it going, man? How's it going? And I love these strategies because they're very simple. And I have to be careful when I say simple, because most people, when I say simple, they think I mean easy, but that's not true. I can make an analogy. I'll make an analogy. So, most people, let me do this. Most people, if I were to play the guitar, what's the first chord you learn on the guitar? I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's like a D major. Here we go. Here's the easiest chord, the first chord you learn on the guitar, people might say. Little bit out of tune, but there we go. There's the first chord. E major, sure. Here's the first chord anyone learns. If I'm 5 years old going to guitar lessons, here's the first chord I learn. Now, some people may say that's easy because it's the first chord you learn. But I would probably argue, no, it's simple, because there's the idea that, yes, you can learn this when you're 5 years old. But me playing this chord now, I'm never able to play this chord and make it sound as good as Jimi Hendrix might. Right? As Steve Cropper might. So although it is very simple, there's endless depth to the nuance that you can put into this and the amount of detail you can put into the simple. E minor easiest. Yeah, probably. There we go. Yeah, in fact, I actually have a 5-year-old student that was the first chord he was able to memorize. But there's endless depth and nuance that I can put into these chords that may be considered easy at the beginning, because you can teach them and you can learn them with minimal steps. But that's why I say it's simple, not easy, because there's lots of depth and nuance, and it can get very complicated, and most people don't realize the amount of depth and nuance that can go into these sorts of things. And that's kind of how some of these strategies are. There's, the army is very simple. There's very limited units. You're hitting a very rigid timing, so you don't have to worry about necessarily going into the late game or any of those complications that come later in the game. But there's always things to improve on, and even in the replays we're going to watch, there's maybe things to improve on. And there's always little details that we might miss. I especially might miss some little details that these players are doing really well, and you might not even think, but there's always things to improve on, and you can always micro better, stuff like that. So it's simple, which is nice for learning, but not to say it's easy. I don't know why, that's a little bit of a tangent, but it's just something, it's a little pet peeve of mine when people call things easy, and it's like, but hasn't Moon been playing PotM Hunts for 20 years? He's saying he's just as good at it now as he was in 2003? Little pet peeve, Pet peeve of mine. So it's simple, not easy. Okay. So 3 different replays, 3 different strategies. The first strategy will be the most common one, but a little bit weird that I would consider it the most common, and I actually couldn't find many solid replays of it. But I did find one that was decent. There's going to be one little weird part about this replay, but I do think it's an interesting factor. This will be LawLiet against Dise. I believe this is for War 3 Champions, so a lot of you guys might have been familiar with this game. And I'll let you guys notice the one anomaly to do with this replay. It's a little bit wacky, but I do think in the flow chart of what LawLiet is doing in this replay, I do think it makes a lot of sense why he does this, but still a little bit wacky. Okay, so this will be LawLiet against Dise on Amazonia. All right, let me load it up. And this is probably the most common. Do we have any PotM vs. PotM mirrors? No, this will just be PotM vs. DH. But the third replay we're going to watch, number 3, the last replay of today, I would say that looks closest to what a Priestess mirror would be. Although it'll be against Demon Hunter, it'll look very common or very similar to what a Priestess mirror might be. Okay? Whereas these first 2 strategies are almost strictly against Demon Hunter. And they're also all-in strategies. Maybe not all-in, but they're strategies based around a timing where you push. All right, so here we go. Here's LawLiet against Dise on Amazonia. And this, of course, being the most common strategy, is the Hunt AP push. The very common one. So up here, here's LawLiet. At the bottom left, here's Dise. You could say maybe a little bit of a skill differential because, you know, Dise, kind of a new and up-and-coming player. LawLiet, of course, like a legend, at times the best night elf in the entire world, but we're going to be looking at LawLiet's point of view. And we're going to be learning some of the details about this strategy. Okay, so standard Ancient War Creep, that's going to be common throughout the day. There's always going to be, these are always going to start rather with just a standard Ancient War Creep, standard Archer. It's not like the 2v2 Huntress build where you may not build an Ancient War to creep. You're always going to creep with your Ancient War. Pretty much every map you're just going to do the standard Ancient War Creep. Just because you're going for PotM and eventually LawLiet is going to go for Huntresses does not mean you're not going to creep it up. Use that Ancient War. Standard as always. And we're going to see the PotM getting items and getting levels can actually be very, very impactful later on. So just a standard Ancient War Creep. Just a standard. Same with Dise, of course, going for a Demon Hunter himself. Standard Ancient War Creep. Now, a couple of interesting things are going to happen. In fact, 3 interesting things are going to happen right off the bat. And we'll talk about those when they happen. Here's the first interesting thing that's going to happen. Now, Dise is actually going to choose to detonate the Lightning Shield, which, in this case, against someone, the best creeping Night Elf in the entire world may not work, but actually not a bad idea against maybe... It could cause a lot of chaos in maybe lower level games, or maybe just someone that isn't LawLiet, but in this case, LawLiet is so good at creeping that he just immediately triggers it again. But still a little bit of an interesting detail there from Dise. But LawLiet, it doesn't impact him at all. Now, here's the second interesting detail. Now, if we see typical mass Huntresses, which is what LawLiet's going to go for, generally we're going to wait to build the second Moonwell until we're already building our Huntress Hall and our second Ancient War, then we're going to build a second Moonwell, or we're going to build them all 3 at the same time. Whereas in this case, and we're actually going to see this in the future, this build order, we're going to see this in the 3rd replay. We're going to see this build order that I'm talking about. But in this case, LawLiet is going to build the Huntress Hall, then the Moonwell, then the Ancient War. The reason he's doing this is because we're going to see the Demon Hunter do a very common move. This is going to be... Almost every replay I watched, the Demon Hunter did this move and attempt to do this. When the Demon Hunter player won, he did this. When the Demon Hunter player lost, he did this. He's going to creep his level 2. And then he's going to run to his opponent's base after he scouts that it's Priestess, and he's going to go for a second Moonwell cancel. Now, in this case, the build order that LawLiet is doing is a little bit slower to start pumping out two Ancient War Huntresses, but he's not going to be able to get his second Moonwell canceled. So this is a specific Amazonia build because the rush distance is short enough that the second Moonwell could be canceled, so that LawLiet doesn't get this Moonwell canceled, and he's going to build the second Ancient War. But this is also going to pivot into our next interesting point about the Ancient War now being a bit slower.
A town is under siege.
Oh, is the booster the wrong color? Why don't I could do this, and then that would fix it, I suppose. Although I do have to do Fog of War off for that, though. I mean, it's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. So now, because this Moonwell is not cancelable, the Demon Hunter could start attacking it, yes, but it would just be repaired and saved, and it would be a full wasted time. Now this Ancient War will be canceled. Now look how LawLiet reacts to this. He's doing a specific build order to not allow this Moonwell to be canceled, which hurts because then you have less Moon Juice overall. Moon Juice in Night Elf Mirror is very important. If you think about it, the less time the second Moonwell is up during nighttime, which it will be soon, the less Moon Juice you're able to get in this Moonwell. So it's important to keep this up, and it's your first Huntress, right? So it's very important for this to not be canceled. And many replays where the Huntress player lost, the Priestess player lost, is because this Moonwell got canceled just over and over again. So yes, Dise is going to be able to cancel this Ancient War, but look how LawLiet reacts. This is so interesting because he probably just does this every time. He doesn't allow his Moonwell to get canceled via the build order, but if the Demon Hunter player just still cancels his Ancient War, this is probably in his flowchart of things as how he reacts. Check this out.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
So of course he's going to go across the map and just start harassing wisps. We'll talk about this a little bit more. But he's just going to build a proxy Ancient War and just cancel this one. He's going to cancel it late enough, though, that the Moonwell is impossible to kill. Even if the Demon Hunter had, like, crazy items, it's impossible to kill. So he's going to keep this alive, and eventually, his lumber's a little bit low right now. Eventually he's going to, once he builds his first Huntress, he's going to get the second Ancient War up. So he's going to actually have 3 Ancient Wars. But this is going to allow him to pressure Dise a whole lot more. And we're going to see how important the pressure is. Alright, so in a perfect world, in a perfect game, the Red Night Elf, the Demon Hunter player, is not really going to allow you to get any archer kills.
Sacred grove is being desecrated.
This isn't going to be a perfect game. So there's going to be some archer kills, but note that LawLiet isn't expecting to actually kill any archers. What is he trying to do? He's just trying to lower the Moonwell mana. And he's trying to do some lumber damage, maybe. Maybe cancel a Moonwell. Maybe cancel a Huntress Hall. Maybe kill a Wisp. He's not trying to necessarily kill archers, or even kill Wisps for that matter. Just trying to damage the economy a bit, and importantly, lower the Moonwell mana. That is the most important thing to do. We're going to see the impact of this later. Yes, you're trading your Moonwell mana for this. Like, he's going to have to go back and heal up this PotM eventually, but he's going to trade it at least a 1-for-1, and he gets an archer too. Now this Ancient War is going to damage the economy, and it's also going to pressure Dise a whole lot more. And note, as soon as he can afford it, he gets his next Ancient War, once he has the lumber. And he gets Ultra Vision after that as soon as he can afford it. And then after that, he gets his third Moonwell as soon as he can afford it. This is the order of things. 1, 2, 3. Right? Ultra Vision, very important, because the longer you have it, the more value you're getting. As soon as nighttime strikes, it only takes 30 seconds to upgrade. If you're upgrading Ultra Vision, you have it for a long time, you have a big advantage against the Demon Hunter player who doesn't have a Huntress Hall yet. He can't get it, so you always have that vision advantage through the first nighttime. Very cool. And now he's just pumping Huntresses. He's going to get his third Moonwell. Eventually he'll get his fourth Moonwell. I'll try to show you guys the exact timing of when he gets that. But, he's just going to get it, around 36 supply, 37 supply. Yeah, it'd be 36 supply. He's just going to pump Huntresses. Up to about 8, but we'll touch on that later. But right now, his whole goal is just to pressure as long as he can. He doesn't want to lose units. He doesn't want to lose his PotM. He doesn't want to lose this archer. But he just wants to do as much damage as he can. Lower the Moonwell mana. And of course, slow the Demon Hunter down from just power creeping to level 3 if you wanted. Last thing we need is more people playing PotM. No, I love it, dude. I love it. I'm not a Night Elf player, but I love it. And we can see just how annoying this Ancient War can be. And again, Dise going to lose another archer, but LawLiet not expecting to actually kill any archers. It's all a bonus. And he does some nice micro to get those archers. But again, important for LawLiet to not actually lose anything. He might lose this archer, but he absolutely should not lose his PotM or any Huntresses, anything like this. Note the Ancient War, it's not lowering the Moonwell mana, but it's lowering the gold, the lumber, via the repair. And the pressure's almost over, but the Ancient War is going to continue to do that. Now the second Ancient War is up, more Huntresses just being pumped. This will be, I believe, what will it be? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be 6. This will be 7. Of course, he was on only 1 Ancient War for a while, which is why it's an odd number, not an even number. Right? And no 4th Moonwell yet, although I'm assuming as soon as he can afford it, we said 36 supply earlier, he'll probably get that 4th Moonwell pretty soon. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, just continue to pressure until essentially he's out of health and mana on the PotM and he risks losing something. Then he's just going to go back and use his own Moonwell mana.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Like I said, Archer might die, but ideally we wouldn't want to lose it. A lot of Night Elves you might even see play very safe with the Archer and just use it in the sort of final push. Is it legit to TP back for LawLiet? I think, honestly, that's a really interesting question, right? Because this town portal, spoiler alert, what LawLiet is going to go for in this game is he's going to go for a timing. a timing at around 48 supply with a couple of glaive throwers. That's the strategy here. This is a very common strategy. This strategy doesn't rely on you having a town portal necessarily. So yes, you can sell it. Very often do we see Night Elves buy Heal Scroll, Protection Scroll before pushing. You can sell it and use that towards Heal Scroll, Protection Scroll. Or you can use it to pressure even more than Town Portal back home. Or you can use it to even Town Portal right now and heal up a little bit quicker. Which are all interesting points. The LawLiet's not going to do, I think, any of those this game. And this Town Portal is going to go to a little bit of waste because, of course, it could just be extra gold. But there's definitely a world in which you could sell it or use it aggressively, for sure. I think, again, we're talking about it's a simple strategy, but there's a lot of depth to what you can do. How do you use this town portal? Interesting question. What are the weaknesses of a LawLiet's build, especially building a third AOW? Well, his Huntresses are a little bit later. So if he gets delayed... Say he messes up and he forgets about this Moonwell and it gets canceled. So does the Ancient War. Something like that. Or Dise ends up being able to pressure him when the LawLiet's supposed to be hitting his timing. Because, of course, building this third Ancient War is delaying the amount of Huntresses you have, so it's delaying the timing. So if LawLiet is getting delayed... and his pressure isn't going as well, and he's getting delayed to the point where Dise has double lures up and has an AP and maybe has a glaive in the back, has a bunch of stuff prepared for the timing, then it can go wrong because you've delayed your timing yourself by building this third Ancient War. Maybe that's the situation. So you can't allow yourself to not be the proactive aggressing one, if that makes sense. You can't allow yourself to be defensive in your base at any point, because if you get delayed by too long, then Dise is just going to be even more ready than he otherwise would have been. I think is the main weakness behind this, because it just slows down everything. It slows down your second Huntress. It slows down all of your Huntresses off this Ancient War, technically, because it's 50 lumber later. So this, every time, you're one Huntress behind, essentially.
Our sacred
So that maybe could be the main weakness to it, but I think it's honestly paying for itself overall, because we're going to see the lumber actually be quite hurt from Dise. For reasons that might be actually argued as a mistake, but... And see, he's really pushing the PotM as far as he can go, because he knows there's no way the Demon Hunter, unless he buys boots, unless he gets a block on the PotM, is actually going to be able to kill the PotM. So he's really pushing it as far as he can, and then if he has to town portal out... that's alright, because it's not a crucial part of the strategy. He's not planning to go to the late game. He's just putting as much pressure on as he can. He actually loses a Huntress, which is definitely an error, but... gonna be the only loss.
Your building is complete.
Note, he did build that Moonwell the same time as I mentioned, around the 36 supply mark. Note, this Huntress is going up to 36 supply. He lost one. This would have been 39 supply. So he built this Moonwell, and then he built one more Huntress. And the Archer's chilling back at home, because at this point he would easily lose this Archer if it was with the army right now. Again, just pushing the PotM as far as he can. Ancient War is still... like, I don't know what the resource count would be from this Ancient War, but I think at this point it's almost paid for itself if you're one-to-one with your opponent. It's done a lot. This repair is... it costs a lot after a while. Now, if that was a cold arrow, there's a world in which that PotM could be forced into the town portal, but I don't think LawLiet actually minds using the town portal, which is why he's creeping so aggressively right now. See this. If he gets creepjacked here, he's definitely got a TP. But he doesn't mind TPing. He's going to get as much value as he possibly can before he has to go home, even if that means town portaling.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Now the Ancient War finally dies, but it's definitely done its job, and daytime's about to hit. And notice, again, he's pushing the PotM as far as he can. If he gets the town portal, it's not a problem. But, okay. Daytime's about to hit. The harass is now ending. Look at the Moonwell mana. Now I'm going to compare this to LawLiet's Moonwell mana, which he has used a little bit of so far, but it's been not harassed to the extent that Dise's has been. And note, LawLiet has to use some of his, but Dise has already used his, right? So this is the end result. It's about to be daytime, so short of a Moonstone, this is what the Moonwell mana is going to stay at for, in this case, the remainder of the game. Let's compare this to LawLiet's. Now, this is what it looks like if you go unharassed. These could all be at 300, because remember, LawLiet has used a little bit of his so far. So Dice's Moonwells would all be pretty much full in this situation if this harass hadn't happened. His lumber would also be a lot better. He'd probably have a second lore coming up. But he wants to get an AP, and he wants to get Nature's Blessing, and he wanted to get priority on a shop. I would call this a mistake, Ultravision, because it's about to be daytime. He's not going to get any value out of this in this game. Yeah, Naga, not a big fan to hold this timing for sure. I would recommend probably a Tinker or a Panda we've seen a lot of, actually. Those two, probably better than the Naga, but neither here nor there. But yeah, the lumber's been hurt. The gold's been hurt. The archers have been killed. And most importantly, the Moonwell mana has been hurt. And now it's about to be daytime, so the Moonwells will no longer regenerate without a Moonstone. And LawLiet at 8 Huntresses, I believe it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Huntresses, 1 Archer. Now, as soon as it's about to be daytime, he builds 2 Glaive Throwers. Note 48 supply. He's not going above upkeep with these Glaive Throwers, because he's not going to be able to afford all the things he wants if he breaks upkeep. He is going to get his 60 supply Moonwell eventually, but it's not a rush. You don't need it. This timing is all done under upkeep. You only break upkeep if you eventually can. So we're going to see him get an extra Moonwell, but it's not a crucial part of the strategy. These 2 Glaive Throwers, to cap off your 50 supply army, however, are, and notice the timing, they're going to pop at the perfect time. 8 Huntresses, 1 Archer, 2 Glaive Throwers afterwards. And he's just creeping LawLiet because he knows if he goes into the base right now, there's a Naga here, there's going to be an AP up. Like, he's not ready. He doesn't have his glaives. He might as well go creep as much as he possibly can with the 30, 40-second window he has before he wants to push. Because his pressure's kind of been held because the PotM got super low. He takes very valuable camps, and his PotM has really good items. Now, notice this Moonwell it's not a crucial part of the strategy. He could get away with not even building this Moonwell, but if he doesn't lose any units, might as well break upkeep with a couple more Huntresses, a couple more Glaive Throwers. He gets +1 as well. This +1 is going to line up perfectly with the timing. He's going to use all of his Moonwell mana that he's been saving up, because in his mind, he's not actually going to have to go back and heal, because in his mind, he's going to win off this push. So ideally, yes, he's going to use all his Moonwell mana, so he's dry as well. If he was the one getting pushed by a PotM, it would be rough, but this is probably the last time in his mind he's ever going back home, so whatever. Whereas, you know, Dise is going to be at home for the remainder of the game with what he has. But +1, 2 Glaives on the way. 8 minutes into the game right now. Night or daytime just hit. Zeppelin purchase as soon as the 2 Glaives come out to micro the Glaives, but also just to get them across the map faster. And 3 Wisps are being pulled. That's the timing. 8 Huntresses, 1 Archer, 2 Glaives and a Zeppelin with +1, and 3 Wisps are being held. This is pretty much the timing. This is pretty much, some Night Elves may pull extra Wisps. Of course, LawLiet was low on Wisps because he built an extra Ancient War. Takes a Wisp. But, you know, this is 3 Wisps, maybe 5 Wisps at some point. You're not going to build a shop or anything. You're just going to build 3 APs, which LawLiet's going to have pretty much the perfect amount of gold to do so. This is the timing. This is the timing. Priest is the moon of the moon. Gonna get a lot of that today. By the way, Penta,
Your building is complete.
Pishner, appreciate you. Tier 1 for 26 months. How you doing, man? And here is the timing. Kills a Moonwell right quick. Notice, Dise relatively ready. He's got an AP. He's got Nature's Blessing. Finished, yes he does. But not a lot of Moonwell mana. He's only got 1 lore. He could afford the 2nd lore right now, but it wouldn't be on time. He's got a shop. He could be a little bit more prepared if he took less damage earlier on, but this is what he has to defend with. And LawLiet has lost 1 Huntress. That's the damage that LawLiet has taken this game. He has lost 1 Huntress, which, you know, maybe a mistake. He didn't realize there's going to be a Naga coming out of the tavern. If it was maybe a Panda or a Tinker, that Huntress wouldn't have actually died. But here's the timing. Oh, Ricky, you were streaming? I didn't even know. What's up? Thanks for the host. Okay. Note the gold here. Look at the gold. Look at the lumber. He's building 2 APs. He's got 1 more wisp. He's going to put down that 3rd AP, and then he's going to be at 8 huntresses, 1 archer, 2 glaive throwers with +1, a zeppelin, and 3 APs. The only thing that LawLiet has not min-maxed is he hasn't gotten the efficiency out of this town portal yet. But what he did get out of it wasn't an actual, was kind of a direct result of still having the town portal, which was he was able to aggressively creep these camps. So yes, he didn't actually get the gold or the teleport out of the town portal, but he got the value of being able to be more aggressive by just having it. And look at the gold. He's going to be able to build a 3rd AP very soon.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
And once he builds it, there it is. There it is. He's got 100 gold. And if he wants to, now we can start building more huntresses behind this. But his +1, look at the timing on it. How sick is this? How sick is this? Like, it's just so clean. Everything is just so clean. It's all perfect. Like, the +1's done. The +1's done right now. 3 APs. He had the perfect amount of gold for it. He's got the extra Moonwell. He had the gold for that, for in case he doesn't actually lose any units and wants to just break upkeep. How sick is this? And wait till you guys, if you guys think this is clean, wait till you see the next replay. That's the cleanest of the clean. But still, how sick? How sick? Okay, and now let's talk a little bit about what the power of this timing is. Well, Dise has... He can only have Dryads. He could have a Bear for Rejuve. He could be, like, maximum, if he takes no damage, like 70% way through his tier 3. Maybe 80, 90%, but he couldn't have Master Bears by this time. He could have Rejuve, which would be great, in which case maybe a couple of extra Wisps would help to detonate the Rejuve, but he could only have Dryads. So Glaive Throwers are great against the Dryads. Huntresses are great against the Archers. What Glaive Throwers are also good against is... If LawLiet just wants to sit here, wouldn't you want Dryads? Well, that's why Glaive Throwers, right? Because Dryads would counter the Huntresses, yes, but the Glaive Throwers will counter the Dryads, in which case Bears would actually be the best unit to defend this. But the Glaive Throwers are now forcing Dise to fight in a position that he wouldn't want to. Ideally, Dise, if there was no Glaives here, Dise would just be like sitting here, or sitting right here, and building a Glaive Thrower himself, and then killing the APs with the Glaive Thrower, and he would just sit behind his wall all day. Because the Archers are not good in an open field. They're going to get swarmed by the Huntresses. The Dryads are not good in an open field. They're going to die to the Glaive Throwers. So Dise would love to just sit here behind his AP, but the Glaives are forcing the fight because they're going to kill this Ancient War. They're going to start killing Moonwells, and eventually Dise is going to have to fight. That's the reason why these 2 Glaive Throwers are so important to this push. If you just do this with Huntresses, it's not going to work. Dise is just going to sit right here. He's just going to sit right here. Yeah, you might have APs on the way, but maybe he cancels them, town portals away, and then sits right here. Maybe he builds a Glaive, which he is doing. Buys a Zeppelin, ferries it into the back, deals with the APs eventually. These Glaive Throwers are crucial. And LawLiet, he could just let the Glaives do the work, wait till Dise engages like out here, and then jump on the Archers. But we'll see how he takes this fight. But still, it's just, this is why Glaive Throwers are so sick. So sick.
Research finished.
No, the AP has to come out. Because, or else the AP is just going to die to the Glaives eventually. Dise, now he has to, this is a decent, he's making the best out of it, right? Like, he's taking a decent position for what it is, but eventually he has to come out. And note, LawLiet's fighting up here, the APs are getting up down here. How sick, how sick. And the Demon Hunter just runs out of steam eventually. If Dise went Tinker, the primary target always the factory, I would say yes if it's out in the open, but the thing with the Tinker is, yeah, you can put it back here. In which case, again, the Glaives are so good at killing that factory. They don't have like a good attack against it, right? It has heavy armor. It's not fortified, but like if it's put up in a defensive position, the Glaives can kill it in I think 2 rounds of attacks, maybe 3 rounds of attacks. So again, that's why the Glaives are so good. It's good against the Pocket Factory, because like if Dise is chilling back here, he's got a factory rallied over here, the Glaives can still deal with it. You don't have to dive in with your Huntresses to kill it. And like probably in this case, Dise would have put it like right here maybe, or like right here and rallied it out here. So if it's in a position where you can focus with everything, absolutely it should be a first priority. But if not, just use the Glaives, I would say in this case. if it was a tinker. And like, look at his Moonwell mana. He's using a Moonstone right now, which I guess is bugged on War 3 Booster. He's using a Moonstone. We can see 0, 0, 0. That means Moonstone. And it's also nighttime, but look at his Moonwell mana. He's got to use a replenishment potion and buy potions right now because his Moonwell mana is just so bad. He has no way to heal up his heroes. Beastmaster, better pick against Hunts. We're going to see a Beastmaster today, actually. It might be. Yeah, there's definitely, you could say, you can make an argument for Beastmaster, Tinker, Panda, and maybe Naga. Naga on the lowest of that list. And Dise, GG's out. Now, I, for one, think that was tasty. That's a tasty strat. And that's a very common strategy. You're going to see that all the time. Not just in Europe, but in Asia and NA. You're going to see this exact timing all the time. It's a very, very common strategy. The most common PotM strategy, most likely. I think it's so sick, though. I love it when just everything lines up. Boom, boom, boom. +1 done as soon as you attack. Perfect amount of gold for 3 APs. Ah, it's so sick. It's so sick. Solo DH, that was a strat against PotM in the past. Yeah, so I guess just to be a little bit rigid, let's just say exactly what he had. Let's just write down exactly what LawLiet had. So he had 1 archer. Let's say first he had level 3 PotM, which you could argue is pretty important, right? He had level 3 PotM for level 2 aura. He had 1 archer. He had 8 hunts. He lost 1. And he replaced that one. So he might have had a little bit extra gold, maybe for a heal scroll or a protection scroll if he didn't invest it into that Huntress. Huntresses are 160, 190, somewhere in that range of gold. I don't exactly know the number. Someone in chat will correct me. But he would have maybe invested that into a heal scroll or a protection scroll. Maybe 1 more AP had he not lost that hunt, but he lost 1 and replaced it. He got 2 glaives plus Zeppelin. And he had +1 attack. And he also got Ultra Vision right away. 195, is it? 195, okay. Yeah, that was the number in my head, but it seemed a little bit high. But yeah, 195. So yeah, he essentially lost 195 gold. And you imagine he used that town portal by selling it and had that 195 gold extra where he didn't have to replace that hunt. There's your heal scroll and protection scroll. Pretty close too. It might be a little bit more, but there's your heal scroll, protection scroll. So there's little things he could mix in, but of course, LawLiet was playing against Dise. He's playing against a very good player, so there's always going to be things that you have to fix on the fly. Maybe you lose an extra wisp, you got to replace it. These things happen, but you know, we can't just always have a perfect game. So we lost a hunt, therefore loses some part of the strategy. But absolutely, a heal scroll, protection scroll definitely could fit into the strat. It's a very common thing people add in. So you have +1 attack and Ultra Vision. Ultra Vision was gotten as soon as that Huntress Hall was up and he could afford it. He's not cutting Huntresses for it. He'll still prioritize pumping 2 Huntresses and getting enough Moonwells to continue to build Huntresses, but he gets it as soon as he can. It's only 50-50, so very cheap. And what else? He pulls 3 Wisps for 3 APs, right? Pulls 3 Wisps and builds 3 APs, and that's pretty much it, right? That's it. Got the Glaives with the Zeppelin, +1 attack and Ultra Vision, 8 hunts, 1 archer, level 3 PotM, 3 Wisps for 3 APs. There you go. Now take that, and he hits around the 8:30 mark. 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's say 8 minutes to 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That's around when the timing. That's around when he has all of these things prepared. So it's like, that's why it's pretty simple, because that's all he has. But then take that and do what you will. What is the best, most optimal way to reach all of this checklist of things, and have it at 8 minutes and 30 seconds, while also optimally dealing damage to your opponent by lowering their economy, lowering their Moonwell mana, limiting their hero levels, limiting their archer count. How cool is that? Now take it and make some adjustments. Figure out some nuances. And do it the best you can. There are players that have played PotM hunts for 15 years, man. And they got all the details worked out to accomplish these goals while also doing damage to their opponent optimally. To a T. To a T. I love it. I think it's so cool. I think it's so cool. So there's replay 1. The most common of the PotM of the Moon strats. On to replay 2. A much different strategy. I first saw Starshaped actually do this, but now I'm kind of thinking that he maybe got it from an Asian player like Moon, or maybe LawLiet himself, or maybe Foggy. You know, he's Ukrainian, of course, but you know. But I first saw it from Starshaped, and I thought it was sick. I thought it was real sick when I saw Starshaped do it, and then I noticed other people are doing it too. I was like, wait, did they steal it from Starshaped, or did Starshaped steal it from them? I think it's sick, though. I think it's dope. Now, I've only seen this strategy on Last Refuge. Although, maybe it could work on other maps. Maybe Echo Isles might work on. Turtle Rock, if you still play that map, it might work on. Saw it on CH as well? Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's definitely... I've only seen this at the top level on Last Refuge, but note... Make it work. Make it work on other maps. Make it work. Ah, right, because you can buy the second hero on the enemy side. That's a cool thing. Please was the first one to do it consistently. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's sick. I love this strat. So let's jump into it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Oh, but everything. Oh, this game. Oh, this is Moon. This is gonna be Moon against Colorful. Oh my god. You're talking about things lining up perfectly. Wait till you see this. My lord. The big thing, why it's so good on Last Refuge, you might ask, is, one, the positioning of the bases makes for really good pushes like this, but two, just because of how the shops are creepable by the person who has the most map control in the mid-game, which in this case will be the PotM player. So if you're able to take the shops aggressively, you're able to get the consumables, which are very good for timing pushes. Woo! Which is the main thing with this strat. All right, so here is replay 2. It'll be a little bit zoomed in because this is a NetEase replay. So no one freak out. Let me do this again. Yeah, this is all right? Oh, yeah, we'll do it from Moon's vision. Here we go. So here's Moon in the bottom left, the legend. And the top right. Here is Colorful, arguably the 2 best Night Elves in the world currently. So if ever we should take exactly what these players do at face value and say, that's probably pretty good what they're doing, it should be probably with these 2 players. Not sure how old this replay is, though. So maybe Colorful wasn't actually the second best at this time. Because I had to go pretty far back. To get some of these replays. We're going to hear some rally points. But just remember they're Moon's rally points. Okay, they're Moon's rally points. Now, okay. Priestess, again, standard Ancient War creep like we noted in the first game.
Your building is complete.
Nothing's going to change, right? It's just, this looks like a standard game. You might look at this and be like, oh, he could be against any race, any matchup. The Priestess would just give it away. Second Moonwell going to come up, standard timing. Second Moonwell, it's all standard. Wisp going to go up and scout, is the Ancient War here? Is it here? Where is it? And what second hero do they have? Where's the second hero creeping? Just standard stuff, Of course, it will be a Demon Hunter, as I said earlier, but just again, looks exactly the same. The Moonwells are in a different place, but everything looks the same from Colorful. And Moon's going to get the item and immediately run up. And he's going to leave his archer to do the rest of the work. He's going to scout the positioning of the Demon Hunter with this cool wisp on the high ground. I like this. He knows the exact timing. And now he's going to run around a little bit. This might seem, it might seem a little weird, but what he's actually doing by just running around and waiting a bit, One, he's looking for
Our
wisps that he can
warriors
maybe
have
kill.
engaged the enemy.
He looked right here, and he looked right here. Two, he's also waiting for the Demon Hunter to start creeping before he goes, and he knows he's going to be able to creepjack the Demon Hunter at either this Murloc camp or this Priest. So he knows he's got like an 8-second window, which is such a Moon thing. He knows he's got this tiny window to go check, oh, has he got a Wisp here? Does he got one here? Does he got one here? Most standard position is maybe right here for the Wisp. He knows he's got a little window to go check that, and then he can run and go creepjack the Demon Hunter before he can get here and start creeping this. Pretty sick. Pretty slick, if you ask me. He's going to creepjack the Demon Hunter. Behind this, you might say, what is he doing? Standard tech timing. And behind this, he's going to start pumping archers off of this. Exactly standard, like your 5 archer games against undead or against human, but with like a keeper first, perhaps. It's just exactly the same. Exactly the same. He's even got the extra wisp. He waited to build the 1 extra wisp before teching. It's all the same. Now he's going to pump archers off this Ancient War. But again, while pressuring, just like LawLiet did. He's pressuring the Demon Hunter. He's going to keep the Moonwell juice low and keep the Demon Hunter low and keep the, if he can, economy low. But it's harder to do this amount of pressure without Huntresses. So he's going to do as much as he can without the strength of the Huntresses early on. Jesus. Alright, so continuing to pressure the Demon Hunter, and this is all just, it's all gravy. If he gets the last hit, that's incredible. But he's not going to get it, because Colorful is extremely good. But still just damage taken on the Demon Hunter, on the Archers, it's all good. And the Archers just being produced. Notice he's not using the Archers to pressure, because they would just take a lot of damage, and they wouldn't do a whole lot. He can do just as much with the PotM. So the Archers are just going to chill for now, until he's got a crucial number. Standard third Moonwell timing, doesn't need to worry about a Huntress Hall in this game, or anything like that.
Your building is complete.
Yeah, PotM does hit very, very hard. You know, Searing Arrow plus 10 damage, the Circlet, good. You can't quite trade 1-for-1 with the Demon Hunter, but you can kite the Demon Hunter, and it makes it very inefficient for Colorful to chase. Like right now, this isn't worth the hit points for Colorful to chase like this. It's actually going to cost him quite a bit, him chasing like this. Because although the Demon Hunter is very strong, he's not a ranged hero. Note, behind all this, we're going to see some fancy micro, but still just pumping archers, getting a shop at about 60% through the tech, so that it's finished on time with the tech. That's it. That's it. Nothing crazy. It's finished on time with the tech, because he wants to get a staff. That's it. He just wants to get a staff. And just continue to produce archers this whole time. I think he's going to end up at 8 archers. 7 archers by the time his tier 2's done. Well, this will be 6. Yeah, I think he'll have 7 before he gets improved bows. Maybe 8. But let's look at the fancy micro. Oh. And this is why the Demon Hunter shouldn't trade with the PotM. And that Demon Hunter would have died, so he town portals out, and fancy stuff. Was it necessary? No. Because why is it important to force the TP? It's not. It's just important to force the Moonwell mana to be used. So whatever. If the TP wasn't forced there and the Demon Hunter is still low on health, the damage is still done. Why promote PotM? Because I love PotM. PotM's dope. Okay, tier 2 finished. This is the 7th archer. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 7 archers, Naga picked up. And now we're going to see Moon get creepjacked, but don't worry. So he's got 7 archers, his Naga's picked up. He's getting improved bows, his shop is done on time. He's currently at 3 of 4 Moonwells. And he's going to be pressured a little bit here. Is he ready to fight? No. Because he doesn't have improved bows, he doesn't have his staff yet. He doesn't have level 3 priestess yet, which is going to be important. So he's just gonna town portal away. His heroes are low. Why take this fight? He would just lose a whole lot, and then you might ask yourself, whose heroes scale better into the late game? Well, of course, the Demon Hunter Panda is going to scale better than the late game. So the whole idea behind this is that you're going to end the game earlier rather than later. So why fight before you're ready to? Why fight before your timing? Right? If you lose units here, if you trade 1 for 1 even, it's not going to be good because as soon as the panda hits 3, as soon as the demon hunter hits 3, all of a sudden your heroes suck. But they don't right now. So force Moonwall on the way. We're going to see Moon buy his staff here, and he's just going to keep building archers. Notice, this is going to be his 8th archer after this is done, and he also builds a wind. He builds a wind when he can afford it after improved bows, and he's going to build more archers. He canceled that one, but oh, he'll build it. AO wind. And now he's going to creep his shop. He has very strong... In this positioning, he was very weak. He would have lost some archers. He had a couple ensnared archers. Both of his heroes were low. He didn't have a lot of mana. But now that he town portals back home, buys staff, gets health, gets mana, now he's in a very strong position where if he actually did get creep jacked, he would probably trade very favorably because he would just right-click the demon hunter, and then he would right-click the panda, his entire army, and Colorful wouldn't be able to trade efficiently with just archers because his heroes would get focused. So now, in fact, even though he just town portaled away, Moon is actually much stronger. Now that he's healed up, now that he's able to take a positioning that he actually wants. So we're actually going to see Moon at least get one of the shops here. At least one of them. And pretty much all the items are good here. Mana items aren't the greatest, but invuln, greater healing is good, and Scroll the Beast, of course, excellent. Picked up that tome fast. But just look how much damage the Demon Hunter comes in whenever he comes into range. Which is why that Colorful can actually not trade right now, because look how much damage he just took. That's why Moon has map control currently. Archers continue to be produced. He's never stopped producing archers. Only for improved bows at 7 did he stop producing. And he happens to have the map control. Maybe there's a world in which Moon cannot actually get both shops, but most games that I've seen with this strategy, they're able to get both shops. They're able to get both. So Moon's going to get both, rightfully so. And he's going to try his best to get level 3 Priestess. That is kind of his goal with this creeping. He's now crept. This is his 4th camp he's crept, so he would really like to get level 3 Priestess, and he gets a Scroll of Beast, which is absolutely insane. That is a really great item to get. Moon pretty much got the best 2 items he could get from these 2 camps. They're really good. So, lucky boy is Moon. But, of course, if you're rolling the dice twice, you're able to get both shops. The chance of you getting a Scroll of Beast, well, it's double, isn't it? So he's going to finish the shop. He's going to get level 3 off the 3 remaining creeps. He pulls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wisps around the time he's hitting level 3. And what is the other time? It's about to be daytime. Has the Moonwell mana been hurt? Yeah, about as much as Moon could have done without going Huntresses. It's pretty hurt, and maybe there's going to have to be a little bit more used. He's lowered the Demon Hunter down to almost 1 hit twice. So that's about as good as he could affect the Moonwell mana. So it's about to be daytime. He's got 5 Wisp pulled. He's got level 3 PotM. His Talons, his first Talons, in fact, are coming out. This is his first Talon. And he's got, let's see how many archers. He's got 1, but this is essentially, he's just never stopped producing archers, ever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 archers. He's got 10 archers. Yeah, the timing is to get a level 3 PotM and then hit at daytime. So even if he has to remember when I said around 8.5 or 8 minutes to 8.5 minutes? Well, it's about 7 minutes. So let's say this timing could be about 7.5 minutes to 8 minutes. You have a little bit of a window. So if Moon needed to go and creep 1 more camp, if he needed to go, probably not this because it has poison, but if Moon needed to go back and creep this to get level 3, he probably would. To get Aura level 2 for this timing. Because daytime is still daytime. Yes, you're giving your opponent a little bit more time to tech up and stuff. Maybe get lures up. But you're not... His Moonwells aren't going to regenerate magically. And he's not going to magically go from Panda level 2 to Panda level 3. Maybe he would in this case, but you have a little bit of wiggle room. But ideally, after you creep the second shop, yep, he's going to get a Scroll of Healing too. That's going to be part of this as well. Because daytime is when the Scroll of Healing spawns, of course, but... Ideally for Moon, though, he's going to be able to creep this shop, this shop, get level 3, and then get level 3 as soon as it hits daytime and push. This is going to be an ideal situation. Ideally, he doesn't have to go and creep one more camp. Ideally, he doesn't have to push later than he does. This is going to be a game where everything lines up perfectly for Moon, and he gets the perfect items. This is essentially going to be a perfect game for Moon. So this is what everything ideally happening looks like. He's going to pull away the Priestess. He's going to get level 3. You gotta scroll the Beast, greater heal. His first talent is on the way. His wisps are here. His first talent, notice, on the way. He's got no upgrades or anything, just improved bows. He's not gonna get adept for the talents. He's just gonna wants fairy fire. It's about to be daytime.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
He's 44 supply. The panda's trying to creep level 3 desperately. And daytime's gonna hit. He's got the perfect gold. He had 12 gold left over to buy protection scroll, heal scroll. Now he's got the triple scroll. Greater heal. He's got, I think it was 10 archers. His first talent is about to be here. His wisps are already here. And here he goes. It is 7 minutes and 24 seconds. So around, like I said, 7 minutes, 30 seconds to 8 minutes is when you want to be hitting this. But Moon is going to hit it right on the money. This is perfect for Moon. 100%. This is ideal. This could not be better for Moon. Maybe there's an argument to be. Maybe there's some things that could be better. I don't know. I don't think it could be any better. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How could it be any better? How can it be any better? And he's got level 3 PotM. He's got level 2 aura. Like, it's just sick. It's just sick. Let me just get an archer count really quick so we have some solidarity here. 3, 6, 9. It is 10 archers. But an 11th is on the way because why stop producing archers? You don't need a ton of talents. He's only going to have 2 talents this whole game. He's got an 11th archer on the way. After that, there'll be 12. He actually gets that last hit, but it doesn't get the item. It's just a mana stone, though. No upgrades are coming, want to note. He only has improved bows. He's got no Huntress Hall, in fact. So only improved bows. And that was built at 7 archers as soon as he could at tier 2. 7 archers. Protection scroll used. Scroll the beast used, but not before, you know, he's safe against the wisps that could be detonated on him. Notice he detonates... Actually, he detonates all 5 wisps on the heroes. One adjustment you could say Moon could make here is he could build like a shop on the high ground with one of those wisps. But in this case, he literally just detonated all 5 on the heroes to lower the Moonwell mana yet again. That's all he did. Lower the mana on the pot or on the panda to force that mana stone right away. He just detonated all 5. But in this case, I would say maybe detonate 4, build a shop in the back for a potion. But Moon's probably feeling pretty confident currently, so he's not too worried. Scroll the beast use +7, +2 armor. Totally crazy. Look how much damage the Demon Hunter takes. He's not even focusing the Demon Hunter, and look how much damage it's taking. Opens food cap too. That's a good point, Lotto. Yeah, that's a good point. Because he is at 50 supply. Yeah, he just straight up immediately detonates 5 wisps on both heroes. And if he couldn't have gotten it on both heroes, he probably would have just detonated only the panda, right? But he forces that mana stone, or he forces a mana potion. You might ask, why isn't Colorful detonating wisps? Well, because they would just get killed before they ever got into range. AP on high ground? Well, there's no Huntress Hall, so it would have to either be a shop or an Ancient War that he builds. Demon Hunter dies. And the panda's trying his best. The panda could be level 3 here, but remember, there was a heal scroll, right? And every time the panda gets into range, he's just going to get focused for half of his health. So, you know, maybe level 3, well, level 3 would certainly be a big help, but a health stone would have also been. So there are some things that could have gone better for Colorful there, but nothing probably could have gone better for Moon. So that's that strat, and I love that strat. So, you know, that first replay was around 8 minutes to 8 minutes and 30 seconds. This happens about 7.5 to 8 minutes. So it's about 30 seconds earlier. So with that Huntress style, you're almost allowing them to get closer to bears and Orb of Venom. You're allowing them to have more setup time, but with this strat, it's even earlier and even cleaner and crisp. Hey, Mango234, 14 months. Tier 2 even for 14 months. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's my go-to strat in Mirror. I think it's so sick, dude. It's so good. And what a good replay. Like, that's exactly like everything going perfectly for Moon. He forces the TP early. He gets good trades. He doesn't lose any archers. He gets the perfect items. He hits the perfect timing. He even had to wait around a little bit. He was so early with that. He had to wait like 5-10 seconds. So sick. So sick. All right, so those are the two pushes. Those are the two main PotM pushes. Maybe there's some other strategies you guys know of. I'd love to see them. If you got replays of you guys doing some PotM strats, submit them for next week. Love to see them. Love to see them. Definitely some creativity could be put into these things, but so those were the two timing attacks. Let's just again, I'll talk about like what did Moon have? Well, he had PotM level 3, right? He had, I think it was, let's say 10 to 11. Let's say 11 archers plus improved bows. He had 2 talons. 5 wisps, Deado on heroes. Does PotM indicate anything other than tier 1 or tier 2 timing attack? That's going to be our third replay, Zachary. That's going to be our third replay. It's going to be more of a kind of a macro style from Moon. It's going to be an interesting style. I don't know if it's a standard style. It's a very weird game, but I thought it was interesting nevertheless. But of course, you can play lores with a PotM. You can play like talons, like tier 3 talons with tri-hero and stuff. You can play a fast expansion with PotM. You can play lots of different styles. Yeah, you can play Expo Mass Dryads. There's a lot of different PotM first styles, but I'm just going to show one of many more macro-oriented styles from Moon. Yeah, there's a whole lot of mirror strats. There's a whole lot of them. So he had 5 wisps, which he detonated on the heroes. Yeah, Moon is a master of Night Elf mirror. He's so good. This next replay will be Moon as well. So, what else? He had the items. He had greater heal plus triple scroll. By triple scroll, I mean beast, protection, and heal. Did he have anything else? Was that it? Oh, and he had a Naga. Let's see. Yeah, plus Naga. He had level 2 Naga, but I don't think having Fork Lightning is a make it or break it situation. I would say the Aura 2 is relatively important. But yeah, Naga level 2, not the most important. And that's what he had. And he hit at 7 minutes 30 to around 8 minutes, let's say. And what's cool about this is being this is Night Elf Mirror, you can test all these timings. You can say, okay, if I were to try to play Demon Hunter and get to bears as fast as possible, when could I have 4 bears by? You can do that. You can test that yourself. You're a Night Elf player. I mean, maybe you're not, but, if you're practicing this, you're a Night Elf player. You can throw all these things against yourself. Say, okay, when is this PotM timing going to hit if I'm the Demon Hunter player? I don't actually know the answer to that question. Like, when can you have 4 bears by with an orb? And Panda level 3 on Last Refuge. When can you have that? 8 minutes and 30 seconds? 9 minutes? I don't know. Would you add +1 when no beast scroll dropped? Well, it would be very difficult for Moon to be able to fit in a Huntress Hall. You would have 2. You'd have 2 bears. Okay. Yeah, it's very hard with this small of a window for a timing. Well, not small window, but it's a very early timing for him to fit in a Huntress Hall and also +1. So no, I don't think Scroll of the Beast is very, very impactful, which is why you're ideally going to be able to create both shops to have 2 shots at getting the Scroll of the Beast. I wouldn't call it a make it or break it. It's just very, very good. Because no matter what, unless you get like double greater mana, like invulns are going to be good, greater heal is going to be good, Scroll of the Beast is going to be incredible. So there's 3 items you can get that can make a big difference, and you have 2 shots at getting these 3 out of 5 items. So chances are you're going to get some decent items if you get both shops. All right, so that's that strat. So now we got our third and final replay. Yeah, and we got about 25 minutes to get through it. So let's get through it. This is going to be a cool strat. Like I said, this isn't the... it certainly isn't the most standard way to play Priestess first in Mirror, by no stretch of the imagination, but it is an interesting game from Moon. I'll give him that. And it's a non-all-in game from Moon. So here's replay 3. Here's Moon in the top right. And the bottom left we do again have colorful. I call it a Huntress Hall. I know it's a Huntress Hall, but whatever. They both sound the same. So yeah, do not take this as this is the standard way to play Priestess first. This definitely, I would say, isn't. But it's a cool strat. I would honestly recommend those 2 previous strats and just all-inning your opponent every time if you're going to play Priestess. But if you want to play a cool little fun macro style, which lets you get like level 6 and stuff, here's your replay. Here's your replay.
Building is complete.
Yeah, did he take talent off autocast? Yeah, for sure. He would have just casted it on the heroes. Because the main thing is, if your opponent with those all-ins just has archers and heroes and maybe a couple of bears, the only thing that's ever going to really carry them is if their heroes are allowed to just kill your attack your archers and stuff. So if you just fairy fire the demon hunter when he gets into range and focus fire him, he's going to get like 1 auto attack off before he's got to run. So again, it's going to be Priestess, but it's going to be standard. Nothing different here. Standard Ancient War creep, but it's going to be a Huntress Hall this time. It's not going to be archers. Of course, let's just tag what Colorful's doing. Standard, 2 Moonwell, as expected. Note, we're going to have a little bit of a difference between this game and the first game, because there may be a risk, but there's much less of a risk of you getting your Moonwell canceled, like LawLiet could have on Amazonia. So Moon is actually going to build his second Ancient War before his second Moonwell, and that's just because the rush distance on Concealed Hill is larger than Amazonia, so you risk this Moonwell being canceled less, which is why he's doing a different build than LawLiet did, even though he's still going for 2 Ancient War Huntresses.
Our warriors
He gets the item like he did on last Refuge, and then he's going to go a little bit aggressive, but not too aggressive. And if you were to scout this, you would say, oh, I think he's doing the Amazonia thing to me. I see 2 Ancient Wars, I see a PotM, I see Huntresses. He's going to do this Amazonia 8-minute timing with 2 glaives. This is what it looks like if you were to scout your opponent, which is the cool thing about this little adjustment that Moon's going to make. He goes aggressive, just like the last 2 games. I think the creeping just gets you a lot of value. The item is really nice, which is why he's Ancient War creeping, and just that extra gold you get. You don't want to be stuck on level 1. See, now if Moon is able to get like 1 unit kill, if he gets an archer, for instance, he's going to immediately have level 2, and notice he hasn't actually gone for aura yet, so it's going to be very important for him to get at least level 1 aura, if not level 2 aura. Or in this case, maybe level 3 aura. But it's really important to get close to... This is similar to why undead players will creep 1 camp before harassing, because they don't want to be stuck on level 1. Even if they kill 5 peasants, they're still stuck on level 1 without aura. This is why we see Death Knight players creep 1 camp. Okay, he put down 2nd and 3rd Moonwell. He gets Ultra Vision as soon as the Huntress Hall finishes, so that he gets max value at nighttime with it. It's just going to pump Huntresses. It's the same thing as Game 1 on Amazonia, just a slightly different second Ancient War timing, a more efficient second Ancient War timing, so he can get his 2nd hunt, and his 4th hunt, and his 6th hunt, and his 8th hunt a little bit earlier than LawLiet did, because he doesn't need to worry about his Moonwell being cancelled. And Moon was a little bit aggressive as you would expect if it was going to be that replay 1 timing. But he's going to do something a little bit different now. And in fact, he's going to do something a little bit different for the rest of the game.
Research finished.
He's got Ultra Vision finished now, so this archer is like an insane ward. Look at this vision. Oh, look at it. He doesn't quite see the Demon Hunter, but just look how much vision he has. And Moon's going to start creeping. He's going to start creeping. He's got his first couple of Huntresses out, and he just starts creeping once he does. Because again, just because he could be pressuring with these Huntresses, and he could be forcing Colorful into his base. He's able to force Colorful into his base for the same reason he's able to creep freely, because he has map control, because he has a stronger army. If they were to fight right now, 2 Huntresses, a PotM, and an Archer would kill 4 Archers no problem in an open fight when they're not behind the Moonwells. So this allows Moon to just creep freely, because he's got the stronger army. So yes, he could be pressuring and pushing and setting himself up for a later timing, or he could just creep more and more aggressively. He's got 4 hunts up. He uses the second Ancient War now to creep the lab. And if he got creep jacked, the archers wouldn't really be able to fight this. The Demon Hunter would be able to do some, but like, there's 3 Huntresses here. There should even be a 4th. Okay, here's the 4th. These archers would not be able to creep jack this. And another interesting point is, Colorful can't move his Ancient War yet, because he was waiting to get 5 archers. He might even be waiting to get 6 or 7 archers in some cases. So Moon is able to creep this, whereas Colorful isn't able to move his Ancient War to start creeping this himself. So again, Moon has the upper hand in creeping currently. He's got 2 Ancient Wars, he's got map control, he's got the stronger army, he's got so many advantages. Although Colorful may be able to actually creep faster with 5 archers as opposed to 4 Huntresses, he doesn't have the control of the map to be able to do so. He also doesn't have the Ancient War positioning to be able to do at least camps like the lab. Really cool. So he's using this strong army for a different purpose.
Research our warriors have
Okay, let's talk about this. He got +1 immediately after Ultravision. Let's look at Moon's supply. He is 37 out of 40. He's going to tech very soon. He's going to wait till he has enough gold. He has +1, and then he's going to tech. He's going to tech. He's got level 3. We'll keep an eye on when he techs. He should tech pretty soon here. There it is. 37 supply tech. 4 Huntresses, the Archer, level 3 PotM, +1 Ultravision, 4 Moonwells, and then he's going to tech. And he's just continuing to creep. He's just power creeping. And in Colorful's mind, unless Colorful gets a scout, which of course this Huntress that we pointed out earlier was killing the Scout Wisp, unless he scouts, Colorful still thinks in his mind that it might be an all-in. He's going for a Beastmaster, of course, which somebody pointed out in the chat earlier might be a strong option against this. And it pretty well could be. But Colorful in his mind might still think he's getting all-in. He's preparing for, okay, in 2 minutes I'm going to get all-in. Or yes, I should point you guys up here. In 2 minutes I'm going to get all-in. 2 minutes and 13 seconds, whatever. I got to be prepared for that. Got to be prepared. But Moon, he's just creeping it up.
Our warriors have
that could be something in his mind. Why is he teching? Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. He's just power creeping. He went from this camp to this camp to this camp to this camp, and then he's gonna go to another camp after this. He's just power creeping. He's getting +1 armor immediately after +1 attack, so he chained his 3 upgrades back to back to back. He's just creeping. This is his 6th Huntress. Let's see how many he actually builds. And now he's getting 2 Glaive Throwers. Pretty similar. He can't afford the second yet, but he'll get it very soon. We should see it in a second. There's the second Glaive Thrower. So, pretty much the same. I think he's got 1 less Huntress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 1 less Huntress than LawLiet did in the first game. And remember, LawLiet lost 1 Huntress. So overall, it's 2 Huntresses. If they're 195 gold, you with me? That's 390 gold that LawLiet used that Moon has not used for those 2 extra Huntresses. You might say, where's that 390 gold going into? Oh, it's the tech. Oh, it's the couple of upgrades. Well, the 1 extra upgrade. Cutting tiny corners to gain advantages like this tech, while still having the same army that LawLiet had when he was going for an all-in. 2 Glaives, 7 Huntresses, not 8, and 1 Archer. He's also getting extra gold because he's creeping more. And he's going to sell items and he gets gold from creeps, stuff like that. But he's still got the same power spike as though he were pushing. And he's even going to buy, when daytime hits, he's even going to buy the Zeppelin, just like before. He's going to use the Zeppelin for something different, but it looks very, very similar. Glaives come out. We've seen this all before, haven't we? But look, he's just going to creep. He's just creeping. His tech's not quite done. Same Moonwell timing LawLiet did. And the second Glaive's going to come out. Zeppelin's going to be purchased. Looks totally the same. Only he's got an armor upgrade on his hunts, and he's got one less Huntress. Doesn't creep the whole fountain. It would take too much time. We're trying to power creep here. And the Glaives are going to do something very Moon-esque. Yeah, exactly. DH even buying heal scroll so Moon doesn't get it right. Interesting.
Our warriors have engaged.
This is an illusion. We're on Moon's vision, so you might not notice, but this is an illusion. Moon is just going to power creep. And what's he doing with the Glaives? He's dropping them. He's harassed dropping them. And behind this, he's going to go tier 3. He also got an archer, 2 archers in fact. And he's getting improved bows. And Moon's going to go tier 3 when he can afford it. Pretty soon he's going to go tier 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Huntresses. Cutting 2 Huntresses off of what LawLiet was going for. Same Glaives with the Zeppelin. But then once he hits tier 2, he builds 2 archers and gets improved bows. So now Moon's going to transition into tier 3 mass archers. And he's just power creeping. He's literally power creeping to level 5 priestess.
Our warriors have engaged.
While buying time for all of this, while making sure that Colorful can't do any sort of counterattack while Moon is teching and creeping with just Zeppelin drop Glaives. And when I say Moon's been doing this since 2003, he's been doing this since 2003. He's been doing it for a long time. The Zeppelin drop Glaive throwers. Does he have a... Is he going tier 3 yet? Not quite yet. He's getting +2 attack before doing so, then tier 3. And now we're just going to see Moon just mass archers. He used the Huntresses to have map control, to creep, to power creep to pretty much level 5 now, to force Colorful to play a little bit more defensive. He had got a Beastmaster, he bought the heal scroll, he delayed his tier 3 tech. Notice Moon's even ahead in tech. He went for more Dryad heavy, Archer heavy, because he thought he was going to get all in. And now Moon is just chilling back. He's transitioning into Archers, he's going to get 2-1 attack. And he's continuing to harass with these Zeppelin drop Glaive throwers. He's just being annoying. And he's just creeping. Just creeping. We'll take a look at the Ancient Wars. He's going to continue to build archers. He doesn't want to break upkeep quite yet. But once he does break upkeep, it will be with archers. He's continuing to be annoying, but the Glaive throwers are starting to be dealt with because Colorful's been leaving some archers in his base, and he even built... I didn't actually notice this. My apologies. He even built an Ancient of Wind to deal with this Zeppelin. He even built an Ancient of Wind to deal with the Zeppelin. So, like, look how committed Colorful is to dealing with the Zeppelin and dealing with the all-in. He's still tier 2. He's got even... He's even got, you know, only 1 lore. He even went for a Beastmaster. Like I said, a heal scroll. And Moon's just not fighting. He doesn't care. He crept up to level 5. He's got level 3 aura now.
Your building is complete. Our warriors have engaged.
And he's banking. Moon is banking.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Now, look at this. Look how cool this is. Colorful goes for an attack because he says, screw this. You're Zeppelin dropping my main. You're just creeping the whole map faster than me. I'm done with this. I'm going to push your base. I think I have the stronger army. I got a lot of archers. I got some dryads. I almost have... Well, I have level 3 demon hunter. I'm going to attack your base. What does Moon do? He just immediately counterattacks because Huntresses are very good at counterattacking because they have bouncing glaives, which means you can't repair. And he's also got glaive throwers. Just says... I don't want to fight you. I'm going tier 3. I'm banking 1,000 gold. I'm just going to push your base. I'm just going to counterattack. How are the upgrades for Moon? He is 2-1. He immediately got Ultra Vision and 1-1 on tier 1. And then as soon as he hit tier 2, he got the second attack upgrade. And then as soon as he hits tier 3, he's going to get the third attack upgrade. He's getting all of these as early as he can. Not prioritizing armor, but attack because he's transitioning into archers. So attack's more important. And look, he's still banking. Avoiding fights, creeping, banking, and marksmanship for sure. Yeah, he'll get that immediately at tier 3 as well. Now Colorful's going to TP, and Moon's just going to TP back. Why would he fight? He's got the tech advantage, he's got the gold advantage, he's got the hero level advantage. And what has all this creeping helped Moon do? Helped him get a bigger bank. Creeping gives you gold, items give you gold. These are all things. Staying on one hero means you don't invest the 425 for another hero. He's not buying orb because he's staying on just Searing Arrow. He doesn't have to buy extra items for his heroes, that his second and third hero. He's cutting so many corners economically by just playing solo PotM. He's not investing into tech structures. He only built the second Ancient War early on. He's cutting so many corners. Now he immediately at tier 3 gets marksmanship. And he's now going to break upkeep. He's banked the whole time. He's never gone above upkeep. He's been banking all the way to tier 3. He got about 1,200 gold, and then he immediately gets marksmanship. He's going to break upkeep with archers. And he's very soon going to get the third attack upgrade, I would imagine. Very soon. There it is. Oh! Not yet. He got it and canceled it. You see that? When are you going to get it, Moon? When are you going to get it? And he's still creeping. He's not getting experience. He's getting gold. He's getting items that he can sell. He's getting a lot of good things. He's just... Look at how big of a bank he has. He's already broken upkeep, and he's 1,200 gold to 400 because of all the corners that he's cut. He's got a new Zeppelin. The Glaive's still chilling. He, of course, doesn't need the Glaives to fight or anything. He's going to invest some of that bank into an expansion. He can't even pick up the crystal ball. Okay, he can. Still waiting for that third attack upgrade.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Still waiting for it. He loses his Ancient War down here, so he's just going to rebuild it. Because, of course, he wants to mass archers. This is actually a really nice timing from Colorful to kill this Ancient War, because Moon has just broken upkeep. But Moon just going to spend some of that on Wellspring and that third attack upgrade any moment now, certainly. Any moment now. If he had the extra lumber, he probably would have. Moon gets Heal Scroll and Protection Scroll. He's getting ready to fight. I think he went to upgrade the third attack upgrade, but then he said, I instead want to get an expansion up, is what he said, so.
Research finished.
When I say PotM's fine, you mean overall? Well, I think she has her usage, just like a Dark Ranger has her usage, just like a Pit Lord does, just like Torn Chieftain isn't viable always, right? Just like, or maybe that's debatable. Blood Mage isn't viable always. Dreadlord isn't viable always. These are heroes with niche uses. Maybe you could say TC. I was wrong in saying that, but you know, there are certain heroes, even altar heroes, but especially some tavern heroes that aren't just viable every time. Right? They're used for specific things. I think it's cool to have heroes like that. So PotM is used against Orc in many cases and in Mirror for a couple of cool strategies. I don't mind that at all. I don't think every hero has to be viable in every matchup, I should say. And let's see how much damage the archers have. They have +8. No third attack upgrade. Now he's getting it because he got a Shredder as well.
Your building is complete. Your building is
Lagos PotM mass hunts against human. Cool. I think that's dope. And the expansion's up. Moon has used yet again. Notice this. I'm going to go to me for a second. He initially used the map control from the big Huntress army to just power creep. What did he power creep for? Well, he power creeped to get level 5 PotM, but importantly also to get lots of gold from the creeping. So he was able to get a big bank and to buy space. He also had the map control for his tier 3. Or he used the map control to buy space for his tier 3 as well. Now, because he had all that extra gold and he has the big tech advantage, again he has map control because he's able to break upkeep with a bigger army early on. What does he use the map control for? Not to push. He uses the map control to now get an expansion up. He's using this strategy as a way to leverage into different advantages, not to just go for an all-in, but he's just playing with the fact that he does have the stronger army at all points and getting different advantages with it. He gets a hero level advantage and an economic advantage. Now he gets a second base, which again, economic advantage. He's just getting different advantages other than just, I'm going to go kill you with this stronger army that I have, which is really cool. I think it's really cool. Yeah, Remo thinks PotM's really boring. I love PotM, though. I think it's dope.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
Retrains into Owl. Ah, maybe he will buy an orb. Does he have a shop yet? He'll probably buy an orb then, because he retrained. That's certainly the idea, though, for the retrain. To retrain from Searing Arrow into an Orb of Venom. Their attack upgrade is about to pop. The expansion's going to be up. There's the shop for the orb eventually.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy. Your building is complete.
And let's see what this damage is when the third attack upgrade finishes. Let's see. Probably be a town portal. And Colorful's banking now, but he's down by a little bit of supply. Well, a lot of supply. And he's down by an expansion now. Now Colorful breaks upkeep. What does he break with? Probably double Bear Glaive, double Mountain Giant. And they'll be out in time, so the supply will be even. Is Orb stronger than level 3 Arrow? Yeah, I would say Orb is stronger. What is the damage, Elf players? What's the number? Is it 86? Orb doesn't stack with Searing Arrow? No, none of the Arrow abilities do. Black Arrow, Cold Arrow, Searing Arrow, Incinerate. What's the damage? What's the damage from an Orb? I'm not mean. I don't mean it's actually. No, I mean from the poison damage. What is it? Is it 60 something? 63? One sec. Orb of Venom. I'm gonna go back to me for a second. Too high? Too low? Oh, it actually got nerfed. Oh, that got nerfed a long time ago. 9 damage per second for 6 seconds. So it's 54. It does 54 damage plus an extra 5 every attack. So it does 59 additional damage every attack. Searing Arrow does 30 additional every attack. The poison damage, though, if you're spreading it to every single target, is really, really strong. 59. So 86 was too much, but I did say I think 64 after that. So I was closer than it was initially. Yeah, but even if you don't micro every hit, I mean it's still quite a bit of extra damage. And if they're running these units away, they're still taking damage. Yeah, you could argue for sure that focus fire damage is better with Searing Arrow. Absolutely. But I think that's might be a debate worth having. But I do like Orb of Venom, especially on a ranged hero where you can spread the damage. And Moon is definitely going to be spreading the damage. When he gets the Orb. He doesn't have the Orb right now, though. He doesn't have it yet.
Your building
is Moon going to get a second hero here? I think Moon actually wants to get level 6. And what's really cool from Colorful is he realizes that Moon's probably pretty close to level 6. And he actually gets a Tinker for cluster rockets, which is going to be good against the archers in AoE, but it's also going to be able to cancel the ultimate. It's also going to cancel the ultimate, which is really interesting. So maybe in this situation, you could say maybe an Alchemist for Acid Bomb and Heal Spray could be the best choice. If Moon wanted to get a second hero right now, even level 1 Acid Bomb would be very, very strong just thrown on a hero. Or thrown on one of these Mountain Giants. Could be very, very strong. So yeah, I think, again, just like Searing Arrow versus Orb of Venom, there could be an argument made where Moon could get a second hero right now. But again, he's been trying to cut corners this whole game by not spending a lot on other things other than just like getting units up as fast as possible. So like he's probably just going to try to get to 80 supply. Like he's continuing to just, oh, he lost that Ancient War. Just produce archers this whole time. And now he's going to get a win for some talents for more focus fire. But again, getting a second hero is very costly. It's 425 gold for the hero. And then you got to buy an invuln for it because it's low level. And then you're probably going to get another heal scroll because why not? You're probably going to get a staff of preservation to save it. So already you're in about 1,000 gold for that second hero that it might only throw one acid bomb that gets staffed out. So Moon's been cutting the corners with that. Not saying that Alchemist here wouldn't be great, but I'm just saying the point of the strat is so that Moon has this huge army with nice upgrades and good levels. Big protection scroll. As Hitman says, the hardest part about Elf is making sure your protection scroll can hit all of your archers at the same time. And Moon did it pretty well. Yeah, you can acid bomb giants, despite the upgrades. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can, right? You can coil nova them. And the Mountain Giants are going to come out, but not without losses for Colorful. But there's still, Mountain Giants are pretty good in this situation. Level 6, there it is. And notice if there wasn't the Tinker right here, the ultimate would probably just win the game for Moon on the spot. But because the Tinker is here, it's going to be tough for the ultimate to get any value. So he's just going to TP away. He actually kills the Demounter before he TPs, but really strong fight for Moon. No, Taunt does not cancel the channel. The cluster rockets will, though. That's it. And now Talons are starting to come out, and as though the Demon Hunter couldn't live before, he's definitely not going to be able to live any longer. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, man. No more armor upgrades. He does get that orb now, and anti-magic potion, which is actually, I didn't notice this when I initially did analysis, to counter the cluster rockets, right? He bought that to counter the cluster rockets, so that he could ultimate. Is that why? Would that counter the stun? Am I wrong here? He must have gotten this for a reason, right? It could be detonated though by a wisp. Okay, now there's 3 Mountain Giants. Okay, let's see. Does he use the... This is going to be cool. Okay, he uses it. Uses the ultimate. Is a Wisp going to be pulled to detonate on it? Or he's just going to wait it out? Okay, there we go. There's the counter. There's the counter, guys. Of course, Moon finds the counter. I didn't even think of that, man. I didn't even think of that at all. Look at the value he's getting from this. And then it gets canceled, but it already killed 2 Mountain Giants. How sick is that? So he's almost treating the level 6 ultimate like a win condition. Like, as soon as I get this, I'm going to push into your base with an anti-magic potion, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he just owns them. Look, Fairy Fire on the Beastmaster. Let's see. Focus the Beastmaster. Let's see how fast it dies. Oh, we didn't see it. He found the counter. Good job, Moon. Moon replays are so good, dude. He is so good at this matchup. He is so good. So like I said, that was a little bit more of a weird strategy. It's almost difficult to say, actually, what he was doing there. But my interpretation of it is he's cutting lots of corners. Well, he's fronting as though he's doing the initial Amazonia pressure. The 8 Huntresses, 2 Glaive Throwers, 1 Archer, level 3 PotM with a Zeppelin, +1 attack, 3 APs, that LawLiet did earlier. He's initially fronting like he's doing that. And then after that, he's, instead of using his map control to actually do that, using his strong army to actually do that, he's instead power creeping. He's power creeping while cutting every possible corner. He's not getting early heal scrolls. He's not getting a second hero. He's not getting staff or even a shop. He's just focusing on getting good upgrades and power creeping for extra gold. He then uses that extra gold to bank all the way to tier 3. Then he immediately breaks upkeep with very strong archers on tier 3. Yet again uses that map control he uses by being able to break upkeep to a bigger army earlier on with the bank he gained already, to then getting an expansion. Yet again, another layer on top of the advantage that he has. And then eventually he's just too strong. He gets level 6, he pushes, he's got the better army, and he just owns. Ah, yes. Soulburn, yeah, definitely could be better there, for sure. That's my interpretation of that strategy, but maybe Moon was just trolling. Who knows? I don't know. I hadn't seen a lot of games like that, but I think that's a really cool strat. And again, it's really simple. You could follow this step by step. He just made a PotM. He did the LawLiet stuff, and then he just massed archers and crept the whole time. He didn't even take a lot of fights or do a lot of fancy stuff. He just sort of crept. He crept very efficiently. And he knew when to creep, and he knew what he could take and how far he could push the limit, like when he took the fountain in the mid-game. But he just sort of crept with a PotM. Simple, but limitless. That's the main thing to take away from today. Simple but limitless strategies. There's always little tweaks you can make. There's always ways to improve them. There's always things you can do better. And there's always new counters as the Demon Hunter player in this situation, which in the future I think I will do an episode on the Demon Hunter's point of view in dealing with this. Maybe I'll even do the next Night Elf episode on this. How does the Demon Hunter player defend these strats? But there's always things to improve on. Always things to improve on, and we should strive to improve the little details while also understanding the big picture of the strats. And I hope we get a better idea of the bigger picture for these strats, but I can't go into too much detail on the nuances that Moon is doing throughout the games. That's up to you guys. It's up to you guys to practice these strats and see what you can learn with them, man, because they're really strong. At least those first two strats, those are really good strats. They're very, very, very strong. I know when I off-race Elf and Mir, I do those. Yeah, he was too afraid and gave Moon all the time in the world. That was definitely a mistake from Colorful. But it's difficult, unless you're just kind of guessing, to know if you're being all-in or not, because it was exactly the same as though Moon was all-inning. It was the same strat. The only difference was he had one less Huntress. And an armor upgrade. Sorry, those were the two. He had one less Huntress and an armor upgrade. Those were the only two differences from LawLiet. So it's very difficult to spot that. Colorful probably could if he scouted a little bit more actively, but it's very difficult to spot those differences and say, oh, he got an armor upgrade, he must be going tier 3 and playing a macro game. Like, that's tricky. That's really tricky. So Colorful giving him a space was a mistake in this situation, but that's kind of the genius of Moon. He uses the strength of a strategy to gain a different advantage than most players would. How cool is that? It's a really nice documentary series on YouTube about Moon from the Age that gives you a personal view of Moon. It's really nice. It's called Beyond the Game. I think I've actually seen that. Oh, that reminds me. I actually wanted to show you guys something. I mentioned earlier that Moon has been Zeppelin dropping glaives for about 20 years now. I'm going to prove it. Here. This is stupid, but here, I'm going to prove it to you guys. So this is Moon's first recorded tournament in the Frozen Throne. Moon's first recorded tournament ever. If you go to his Wikipedia and you scroll down to the first tournament, this is in 2003. Let me get the exact date for you guys. What's the date? December 7th, 2003. December 7th, 2003. That's when it ended, so this was in the middle of it. But the Moon's first Frozen Throne tournament ever. This is it. And this is the second game of the first match in the playoffs. There you go. The quality's very bad. It's very bad. But here we go. You ready? You ready? Oh, what do you know? Here's Moon. He's got glaive throwers at a Zeppelin. What do you know? Zeppelin dropping a Night Elf mirror. Look at, and by the way, yes, this is a Beastmaster mirror in Night Elf. In Night Elf versus Night Elf. They both have a Beastmaster. Who's he playing against? Let me find his opponent. He's currently playing against any PPI. And look, he's Zeppelin dropping his opponent. Let's listen to the Korean casters. How hype is this? But that's that. I just wanted to show you guys, I mentioned earlier, Moon has been doing this sort of stuff for ages, and that's why he's so good. This is 2003. Mass Archers, albeit with a Beastmaster instead of a PotM. Glaive Thrower drop in the main base. Expansions all over the map. It's classic Moon. Classic Moon. There it is. There it is. So that's it. Perfectly on time, if I dare say myself. I said it was going to be a little bit shorter. We did about 2 hours. But that's it, guys. Are there any questions quickly? I do have to go in about 10 minutes, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And then I'm gonna go do a sound check, play some music. Sounds like fun. It's gonna be a good time. So any questions? I thought that was a fun one. I love those strats. I think every time I see a PotM against Demon Hunter, I'm like, yeah, let's go every time. And I actually say it whenever I cast. I'm like, yeah, I love PotM. I think PotM's dope. Going neutral hero versus Night Elf. PotM is scouted. What neutral hero do you pick? Panda, probably. Probably Panda, right? I think Panda would be best. Because as long as you are able to get level 3 before you get all in, I think Panda is extremely good. You streaming your sound session? No, I wish I could, but unfortunately I don't have the means to do so. What's the next episode about? The next episode is, I said this at the start, but I'll say it again because, you know, can't expect everyone to be here the whole time. Next episode is community replay review. So if you send me your replays, I will go over them. Doesn't matter what your MMR is. It doesn't matter the matchup. It doesn't matter. The only restriction I would put is make sure the replays are not too long. You can send them to here. You can email me at carsonbacktowarcraft.com, or you can go to discord.backtowarcraft.com and join the TheoryCraft channel. Oh, let me do this. And join the TheoryCraft channel. How about 1v1 replays, and they can't be an hour long. Yeah, 1v1 replays, 1v1. 1v1 melee replays. And the best way to send them to me is in the Discord, I would say, because the emails, they sometimes get lost in there. DMs, they sometimes get lost in the DMs, but in the TheoryCraft channel is very easy to spot. And give me a little write-up, too. Give me a little write-up. So that'll be next week's episode on the 8th. And those are really, really fun. Those are really fun. And then after that, it will be... did we do Undead Day? I can't remember. What did we do for Undead Day? Did we do it? What was episode 20? Was that Human Day? No, it was Undead Day, right? I think it was. Oh, we did Happy and 120 against Night Elf. Yeah. So then the next episode is going to be Human after that. It's going to be Human. And then it'll be Orc. And then Undead again. And then probably an interview. And then Night Elf again. That's kind of what we're looking at. What we're looking at here. But yeah, this will be next week. On Orc Day, can you do mirrors? I think that'd be a great suggestion, for sure. Mirrors been getting really weird recently. And yeah, it's definitely come to mind, for sure. I think that's probably the best strat to go over. Or the best matchup, rather, to go over would be Orc Mirror. I think that's a good way to go. It always depends on the replays. Like, for instance, for this episode, I downloaded 110 pages of replays. That means I went down 110 pages and downloaded every Night Elf mirror, although you can filter it so it's only Night Elf mirror, but the first 110 pages of replays in Warcraft 3 info, and I only managed to find 3 replays that worked. So if I'm able to find the replays for Orc Mirror, I will do it. But that's always the restraint, unfortunately. Because NetEase recently actually did a patch to their maps, which now games that were played on NetEase if those games were played on Autumn Leaves, Tidehunters, or Concealed Hill, those replays do not work. But for some reason, the Colorful against Moon replay on Concealed Hill today did work, but maybe that was played on War 3 Champions. I don't know. But Tidehunters, Autumn Leaves, and Concealed Hill just don't load on Warcraft. Who knows? You plan to keep the same structure for the TheoryCraft episodes? I'll probably keep the same structure for this show for maybe about the first year. So until around like episode 40 or something like that, 45, which will be around maybe January or December of this year. I'll probably keep this format up, and then I'll probably rethink things going into 2021. Like, I really would like to do some episodes about like more history types of things. I already did the history of like Foggy against Happy. I'd like to do more stuff like that, like the history of maybe players or old school strategies, or maybe the development of certain matchups, like the development of Orkmere from 2003 onwards. It would take a little bit more work, and I'd have to figure out ways of being able to patch back and do those old replays. But I would like to change it up a little bit in that way, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there, because eventually I'm just going to run out of things to talk about strategically, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to do 500 episodes of this. Eventually I'm just going to be like, well, I don't know anything else, guys. Yeah, Grubby versus Moon history, exactly. You know, maybe the history of like old school undeads, like Fov or TED or people like that. You know, things like that. I think it would be cool. But it would be a different sort of workflow for that. So we'll see when we get there. But we got at least, you know, maybe 20, 25 more of these in us. General strategy talk, yeah, for sure. Some mechanical things. The thing about doing like mechanical episodes is I wouldn't want to do that unless I'm actually active playing myself. Because currently I don't actually play a lot of ladder or anything. So I can sort of watch replays and I know what I'm looking at, and I can say, okay, this is what Moon is doing. And here's my interpretation of what Moon is doing. And then you guys can either be like, oh, I think he's actually doing it for this reason. And I can be like, oh, maybe you're right. Who knows? It's easy because it's Moon, though. Whereas if we're doing mechanical things, then I have to be like, oh, here's me on my keyboard and mouse actually showing you guys how to do these things, which is a little bit trickier for me to do from authority if I'm not actively playing, if you sort of get what I mean. What could human do better instead of crime would be interesting. That could be said for every race, actually. Could be an interesting sort of episode. Reign of Chaos history and meta, that could be interesting too. I would probably do like the real old school, like the 2002. Yeah, a lot of interesting things, and I'll be thinking about it for a while. Like, you know, I'll probably spend the next 6 months or so planning these episodes, but also in tangent, figuring out maybe what the next step will be to make it a little bit more interesting in the future. Humans lose game on purpose to make a point. Yeah. All right, that's it, guys. I'm out of here. I got to leave in like 15 minutes, so I'm going to go get ready. And, tomorrow is the return of Neo. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, okay? So what time is it at? I believe it's at 10 a.m. my time. Let's see. 1900 CEST, that's 10 a.m. Pacific, that's 1 p.m. Eastern. The return of Neo, okay? So make sure you guys go tune in this channel. Neo's going to be casting Skill Play Warcraft 3 Gold Open Cup. Where am I going? I'm going to play a show with my band. I got a sound check. So make sure everyone tunes into Neo and be very positive and nice and respectful and say welcome back. We're happy to have you back because we are happy to have him back after his month break. But make sure you guys go watch Neo. And then it'll be 1900 Europe time, so 7 p.m. Central European Summertime. Is that what it is? Central? I think it's Central European Standard Time. Yeah. 1900. Keep that gain down, yeah. So make sure. And then I'll be back with Ricky on Saturday and Sunday for Dust League. Same time, same place. Thank you guys very much. Thank you also to I got to do this, I guess, too. Almost forgot, but of course, it's important to not. Also, thank you to our patrons. Appreciate you guys. Let me find your names. Could almost do it by memory by now, but then I'd feel bad if I forgot about anyone. Oh, and we do have a couple of new guys, actually. Awesome. 500 euro golden goat tier patron. Knubbie Quakes, as always, thank you very much. Our 50 euro Midas tier patrons. Toxie, Grinchy, appreciate you, Grinchy, a new one. Nem182, Save Orcas, Scription, and Teggy, and our 25 euro profit tier. Patrons, Don Delare, JGats123, and N Padroot. Thank you guys so much, and that's it from me. Peace out. Bye-bye.